Oh my god. Can't believe I'm doing this.
Everything we wanted to do for the last 3 days, it's all been cancelled. It's like, please don't die. Just please don't die.
I'm pretty sure I just risked my life to see the most beautiful place here in Oman. When talking about the nature of Oman, it is no secret that most of us tend to think about desert. After all, nearly 80% of this land is covered in these dry wastelands. And even from space, this country looks a lot like a giant sandbox that most cats only dream of having in their disposal. Yet there is more here than what meets the eye. Scattered between the desert sands, small green paradises can be found. Locals call them wadis, but the easiest way to describe them would be as giant cracks in the earth, hiding in them what many consider as the most beautiful places on our planet. So in this video, we bring you along to see 2 incredible locations like this. Yet as the saying goes, nothing in life truly worth seeing or having comes easy.
Super happy to see you live.
Our journey today starts at the very bottom of one of such places. We're now just driving on the bottom of the canyon. Wadi Bani Khalid it was called, and with every step towards it, our excitement grew bigger. We had dreamt about seeing this place before visiting this country, but little did we know that while we were closing in on our destination, something much bigger was happening above our heads. Something that looked like this. Thunder! Yeah, you might be thinking that what is some rain to 2 experienced travelers like us? But from the reactions of locals, we realized that this was serious. So it started raining and the guy in a neon shirt is telling that the place is closed. Everybody has to go back.
It's unfortunate.
We had to turn around just meters short of seeing our dream. But if anyone's wondering why we're leaving, is that, yeah, the flash floods here can happen fast, especially at the bottom of the canyon. And we just don't want to get stuck here.
Or die.
That would be, yeah, or die. Smells like a wet dog in here.
Not like, we are the wet dogs. Crap.
No problem.
And as the police was rushing in to evacuate the area, that's police car there telling everybody to get the heck out. It's gonna flood a lot. We quickly made our escape. Only minutes from the start of the storm, we understood how serious it actually was. Jeez, already landslides.
This is landslides.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, of course. And when reaching the nearest city, it became clear that rains like this in Oman are a true danger and a force of nature capable of stopping the whole country. Yes, it wasn't easy to accept not seeing a place on our travel bucket list. But luckily for us, if you trust the internet, Wadi Bani Khalid was voted only 3rd most beautiful canyon in the country. And so we prepared ourselves to see the next 2 on a following day. We woke up early and started the adventure with a pretty good mood. It actually seems like we might have a weather window. It's hard to believe. I'm really hoping so. As we were closing in on the 2nd prettiest canyon in Oman, it became clear that the storm had been much bigger than we thought. The whole place has been overflowing with mud last night. The parking lot is covered in mud. And the message we received from the workers, quite straightforward.
Yeah.
Why it is closed?
Close.
Accepting a 2nd defeat in a row was much harder.
We woke up at 6 to come here and they say it's closed.
It's extremely frustrating.
I know I can't change the weather and it's stupid. But sometimes just stuff's hard when nothing is going your way and you can't do anything about it.
Seeing those places had been the main reason of us coming to Oman.
Yeah, I feel devastated. I feel frustrated.
Yeah.
I feel sad.
There's not much we can do about it. And although they say that stupidity is doing the same thing over and over again while hoping for a different result, then in our minds there just wasn't a different option. And so again, we returned on the following day. So crazy to see Wadi Shab like this. It's one of the most beautiful and famous places in Oman, and usually it's pristine blue water. Then you get the water plants in there, the green. Now it's just brown. Well, as you can probably guess, the story remained the same. The water level was still high, and mud was still there covering everything. The entrance is... Yeah.
But really, if you go, you don't enjoy it.
Yeah, I understand.
Like you pay money for nothing.
Exactly.
Everything we wanted to do for the last 3 days, it's all been cancelled.
Yet there was one small change. This time, we actually received information that gave us a tiny bit of hope.
So, for the next 4 days as well, we cannot go there because it's gonna be extremely muddy, it's gonna be brown, you can't go to the cave. If we can do it, it's gonna be on the last day of our visa. Because we already tried to extend our visa and they said no.
We had failed 3 times in a row and now knew that there was just one chance left. We left the area for the next few days, and while visiting the deserts and the cities of Oman, the time flew by fast. And finally, on the very last full day on our visa, we returned. Exactly 1 week has passed, and we're going back there at last. The fact that we created a whole song about the place was a clear giveaway that our hopes were high. Third time is a charm, they say. We can't miss it today, there's no way. This was going to be our last chance. Okay, I can't believe that we're actually here. It's not muddy anymore, it's not raining anymore. As soon as we got there, the place felt different. Yes, due to the early hours, it was still empty, but it had a certain calm to it. We could see animals. They already look like they're full of shenanigans, and they come here every day to bum food out of unexpected tourists. And most importantly, the water seemed clear. We hired a boatman to ferry us over the river. And what was waiting there on the other side,
They can't send us back now.
could only be called magic. Well, as soon as we jumped off the boat, you kind of feel like you're in a totally different place. It's like an oasis over here. The small villages and farms seemed to be taken out of a fairy tale. Papaya, mangoes, bananas, smell of fresh fruits, sound of water, and the magnificent scenery instantly calmed our heads. And it was hard to contain our happiness as we realized that we had actually made it. Wadi al-Shab, Wadi al-Shab, Wadi al-Shab, Wadi al-Shab, Wadi al-Shab. Kind of feel like you're suddenly lost in some paradise garden. Behind every bend of the canyon, something even more beautiful was waiting. And honestly, while seeing all of this, it was hard for me to understand how Wadi al-Shab was only the second prettiest canyon around here. The next place, in my imagination, had to be a literal paradise.
I create waterfall, I create sun, I create water.
Well, somebody has a god complex. Our road took us to the end of the footpath.
It's been pretty easy so far. It's like a walk in the park. If the park was a little bit underwater.
And if you think that this is where the story ends, then no. At the end of this canyon, there is something even more special. But to get there, you have to be willing to get wet. We have made it to the part where the road ends, and you just have to start swimming in a canyon. The water was warm and clear, but it somehow felt like we were swimming against the current. And although I didn't know it yet, then getting used to swimming and water like this might as well have saved my life this very same afternoon. Yeah, I'm definitely not the best at swimming, but I still made it to the end of this river behind Liisu, where we saw a dark crevice in a wall of solid stone. And well, this was exactly where we were heading. Honestly, the whole thing was a bit too claustrophobic to my taste. What the fuck is this? The meters-long tunnel barely had room for my head. But as Liisu bravely went ahead, I also decided to ignore the warm water around my swimming pants and followed her to the cave. The opening we arrived in felt mysterious and incredible at the same time. The massive waterfall that has molded this cave in thousands of years filled the room with loud, gushing sound. The current was extremely strong, but we didn't really mind. Our emotions ran high, because after a week of trying, we had made it. And for some weird reason not known to mankind, I decided to celebrate our victory in the most nerdy way possible. As we made our way back, we felt a little tired of all of this swimming and climbing. But there wasn't really time to lose, as on the very same day, we still needed to see the crown jewel of Oman's bodies before sundown. The entrance to the next canyon was only about 10 kilometers away, but this time, we knew that our rust-worthy companion Freya was not going to be enough to get us there. Looks like this is as far as we can drive. We parked her and continued on foot. How are you?
I'm amazing.
Again, the road took us through many authentic villages. So much greenery, palm trees, farms, bananas. Super beautiful. They felt like time capsules, taking us back whole centuries. Birds, a lone rooster in the background, wind. All the stuff you simply can't hear in cities. It was really a beautiful walk, but after about 30 minutes strictly uphill, we were simply out of gas. I like hiking. I like hiking. I like hiking. I don't just do it to torture myself. And could only think of one solution.
Woohoo!
Hey guys, do you have extra room for two more? Well, it actually worked. We got picked up by 3 wonderful Austrians. Wow, thank you so much for stopping. And I guess it played in our favor that they didn't realize how sweaty we actually were before the car had already stopped. Drive through the mountains was absolutely beautiful, and I'm even a little ashamed to admit that maybe, just for a second, I fantasized about Freya losing some weight and having just a tiny bit bigger tires to support us on adventures like this. But before I could go too far, we had arrived in another village. I can't believe we thought we could walk that far.
We can walk that far, but not every day we can walk that far. We sometimes can't walk that far.
Now in a group of 5, we started our search for the canyon. On the steep hillside, we climbed about 3 stone walls, trespassed to at least 10 private gardens, and then of course realized that there was actually a proper path to our destination. Once there, I'll be dead honest, I wasn't super impressed.
Hey, this water is actually cold.
Yes, it was pretty, but it really didn't compare what we had already seen that day. But something inside me told me that I was missing something. We still took a quick swim in the rock pools, enjoyed the scenery, and tried to make it look like showering under such big waterfalls is actually a nice thing to do. Yeah, if you've never tried it before, then in all honesty, it feels like you're fighting the water cannon of the riot police. And then, when it was time to leave, we noticed a second waterfall. Leading to it, an old rusty chain and years-old rope. And what we saw when looking down the cliff was absolutely stunning. I was sure that the glory of this canyon could be found down there. Yet as we assessed the situation, it became clear that once we go down, there is no coming back. And so, slightly disappointed, once again we prepared to leave. When suddenly, a local travel guide stopped us and said that there is another way out of this canyon, few hundred meters down the river. My eyes went wide, and then I looked at Liisu, because as we all know by now, she is the brave one in this relationship. But what she told me came as a shock.
Don't have that many limitations when it comes to climbing and doing extreme stuff like this. But that was too sketchy for me.
Yet still, I wasn't able to shake off the feeling of missing something incredible.
Wish me that I don't die.
And so some weird force inside of me pushed me forward, and I decided to face two of my greatest fears, heights and unknown waters, all alone. I made my way back there, trying to not look down.
Oh my god.
Grabbed the rusty chain, at the same time knowing that there was no room for mistakes. From now on, there was literally no one around to help when something went wrong. I took my time to climb down. And from the top of a huge boulder, the views into the canyon blew my mind.
It's a small little paradise. Oh my god. My adrenaline is at the all-time high.
The color of the river, droplets of water falling down from the rocky ceiling, reflecting the sun. Yet after realizing how slippery the big rock was,
That's extremely slippery. Extremely.
I understood that once I pushed myself off that boulder, there was simply no way back.
Can't believe I'm doing this.
My health and safety depended solely on the words of a stranger I had met 5 minutes before.
Do I have to freaking jump and swim?
It seemed crazy, but still I pursued.
Two down.
The vibrant colors on the canyon walls, combined with ice-cold water, heightened my senses. And so I pushed forward. The water here is deep, and the freezing temperature of it made my legs quite stiff. While sliding down the cascades, I took extra care not to bang my head on any of the slippery stones. No room for mistakes. No room. And from my face, you can see how in a matter of seconds, I would go from stressful grin to a joyous smile. From problems of the moment to enjoying one of the most stunning places I have ever seen. It was unearthly, a true masterpiece from Mother Nature herself. And I still remember how it made me quite sad when I understood that about halfway through, my camera decided to give in under all of the stress we were going through.
My GoPro is giving up.
And it decorated the last shots from the canyon with water and fog.
No! I wanna show this to you.
But now, looking back on it, as a filmmaker, yes, it's always hard losing a camera. But at the same time, I'm extremely grateful. Even if not perfectly, then still, I was able to capture Vaadi TV on camera. And it's a great feeling, being able to share with you what I think is the most beautiful place in the whole country of Oman. Oh, and to those of you still wondering about the other side, then yes, the tour guide was 100% correct, and there was an opening where Liisu was already waiting for me with some encouraging words.
So hard. I'm super happy to see you alive. Super happy to see you live.
Friends, thank you so much for watching, and make sure to click on this playlist next to see all of our Omani adventures. Take care and bye.